We're talking North Texas today on Sharpen the Point. 6-7 disappointing season a year ago, given how much offense they had. Head coach Eric Morris enters his third season with his third new quarterback in as many years. He made a difference adding Skylar Cassidy, who from Sam Houston as the defensive coordinator. They're going to need to improve on that side of the football specifically in order to reach the goals that they want to achieve. Quarterback Chandler Morris goes to UVA after 3,831 touchdown last season. He was extremely good, specifically just racking up numbers in this Morris offense that has continued to produce extreme volume, and they're going to look to be the number one offense in the country this year. Quarterback competition is going to be between Reese Poffenbarger, who had come from the FCS, went to Miami for a year, learned a little bit there under Cam Ward, and then former walk-on Drew Mestemaker. Poffenbarger had 3,600 yards and 36 touchdowns at that FCS level, but he's got limited mobility, and we need to see him do it when he's come up to a level here. Mestemaker, meanwhile, he played extremely sparingly last season because of how good Chandler Morris was. But he went nuclear in that bowl game with 393 yards, 2 touchdowns, showed off a little bit of explosive run ability with a 70-yard run. And I don't expect either to have the same rushing involvement that Morris did, but Mestemaker clearly is better with his legs. Running back-wise, leading rusher Shane Porter is going to depart to Sam Houston. It's not an extreme loss. They weren't exactly very good running the football a year ago, and I think Mackenzie McGill is going to be better suited as that RB1. He had 10 touchdowns last year, and I think he's going to try to expand on the yardage opportunities there. I also expect Kiefer Sibley, Jaden Becks to see opportunities in the backfield as well, while pass catchers, DT Sheffield being gone to Rutgers is going to be an issue, albeit he had some issues previously at some other stops. He is highly productive, 66 catches, 822 through the air, 11 touchdowns. A bigger loss to me is the combination of Sheffield and Damon Ward. Damon Ward came on pretty strong late in the year as well. Blair Conwright graduated. Miles Coleman's going to be looked upon to be the wide receiver one in this offense. We're going to play a good bit of him anytime he's on a daily fantasy slate. He went 6 for 104 in the bowl game. He dominated in the spring. I almost hope Mestemaker is the starter for the sole reason that the connection between those two is already there. It's well established because Coleman and Mestemaker were high school teammates. So I think Coleman's ceiling's probably higher with Mestemaker, although Poffenbarger is clearly a decent passing quarterback. I expect Simeon Evans and Landon Sides to be key contributors in the starting offense. Evans comes over from Sam Houston. They had a lot of exchange apparently between those two schools. Along the offensive line, the coaches think they have more depth than they ever have before. The additions of Jimto Abedwegu from Kent State at left tackle. Willie Goodacre was a wonderful pickup out of Syracuse at center. Dylan Shaw, a guard out of Texas Tech. Ugana Nana, a guard from UVA. They were needed with the losses in graduation and the portal mounting. How the unit gels will go a long way into achieving the goals of this entire offense for the season. I think that there's a lot of talent. It's just a matter of if they can play together. Those are all quality players. On the defensive line is an entire shift change here. 4 graduates, 5 portal departures, 8 transfers come in. It's probably a good thing considering how bad they were on defense a year ago. There's a reason they have a new DC, and their new DC did a good job at Sam Houston of building that defense up from where it was when he got there. They finished around 20th in college football a year ago. Defensive lineman Avian Carter stands out. To me, he comes from TCU. He had 2 injury-plagued seasons. He's looking to recapture the form that led to him being one of the top prospects in Texas when he was leaving high school. He has the talent to be able to uplift this defensive line in the long run. Top and third leading tacklers, Jalen Smith and Jordan Brown graduate, leaving holes at the second level at the linebacker core. Only 4 of them returned from the roster last season. A lot more turnover here. Shane Witter, Ethan Weslowski return. They should be relied on to take over 2/3 of the linebacking core, while Sam Houston transfer, who comes with his defensive coordinator Trey Fields, should be able to take over the 3rd spot. Jaden Hill graduated from the 2nd level. Evan Jackson had 3 interceptions. He was the 4th leading tackler. Brian Nelson went to NC State. He had 4 interceptions. They all depart as key secondary contributors. So a brand new secondary as well. Patrick Smith-Young, the safety, is going to return from a stint at Old Dominion. He had a decent year last year. He's one of 2 Old Dominion players added, which is not necessarily a good thing considering ODU's secondary just got torched regularly a year ago. Quentin Hammond showed last season, he's the bright spot in the secondary. He showed last season as a freshman he can contribute. He built on that throughout the spring. I expect him to be a key contributor in that secondary. Looking at the schedule and outlook for the season, head coach Eric Morris has talked about wanting to be the number 1 offense in the country. It's going to sound a little odd for people who don't pay enough attention to North Texas ultimately, but they're certainly capable if they can bring more balance to the offense. Breaking in a new quarterback and performing is not anything new considering his first 2 seasons. He did the same exact thing, and they finished 6th and 3rd in total offense. So I think that they have a real shot to be the number 1 offense in the country. The run game just needs to improve to make that a reality, unless the turnover at quarterback and wide receiver just means nothing to this offense. The entire defense changed over. That's going to be a positive, likely, given how the last 2 seasons played out. If the offense falls off and the defense doesn't step up, the bottom could very well fall out this year. I don't expect it to where the defense is just really good and the offense stinks. I think the offense more likely continues its trajectory, continues to be very good, and the defense hopefully shows moderate improvement, leading to a little bit more. Lamar started out as the first game. That's a nice easy ease into the schedule. Offensive explosion. We're going to see some really nice things there, and it's an easy win. It's going to get our hopes up for the offense moving into at Western Michigan. That's a tough place to play, but because it's early in the year, it's not nearly as difficult. I think they can get the job done on offense solely because the MAC is not known for offensive explosion teams. So just being able to play out in front is going to be able to help them there. Washington State, getting them in the 3rd game is a nice schedule spot as well. They have a ton of turnover. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. This is going to be a fun one. This is the game we want on a daily fantasy slate because both sides are going to be able to put up points. Moving into at Army, they're always tough to play. They have the turnover early for them too, breaking in some new players on offense. I think it's a good spot to get them. The concern always is, similar to last season in that Army game, can you stop the run? If you can't stop them, they will just wear you down, keep your offense on the sideline, and issues are going to come about. Last season's game, I talked about it on the show last year, is if they kept the ball away from the North Texas offense, it was going to be difficult. I think this is a tough game. It's going to be a hard-fought game. It's just a question of how does the tempo play out, and it's a battle of tempo. Army's going to be tough. So that's a coin flip game to me. You're hoping to not be 2-2 after that 4-game stretch. South Alabama breaking in a brand new dang near everything, especially with the loss of Fluff Bothwell, Gio Lopez. They were the key on the offense. They should be able to handle that team. I don't think it's too much of an issue. South Florida, that's going to be another shootout. Byron Brown, as long as he's healthy, is a problem in this conference. So that's a coin flip game. If anything, UTSA, also tough opponent, shootout potential. We want all these games for DFS. North Texas is a blast to have on the schedule. Miles Coleman should be putting up monster numbers all the way through. At Charlotte, that's an improved team. they can get them. They can beat that team, that roster. Navy, that's a tough game. I'm gonna have a hard time picking against Navy in just about any game this year. You know, later in the season, Service Academy. This is an experienced offense. They're a team that I don't envy any team having to play this year, given what they return, and I think that's a tough shot. At UAB, that's another shootout, but advantage North Texas in that they're just better on offense. Both teams have struggled with defense, so hopefully a moderate uptick of defense gives them an advantage there. At Rice, advantage North Texas. They're just not going to be a very good team. And then at home against Temple, advantage also to North Texas. They should be able to take care of that. So if you look at overall schedule-wise, the Service Academies are going to be tough to beat. Expect a ton of offense early with this team, rounding into form late. 7 wins looks like it's on the cards. It should be an improvement over last year. And if the defense struggles to improve, they should still have a fighting chance to get there. And the run game doesn't come around as well, then missing a bowl is a possibility. But 7 wins looks pretty much on the cards. So if they can get an improvement from last season's win total of 6, and especially if the defense shows some form of life, which they should, then there's a lot to look forward to with this North Texas roster.